Okay, now let's try it.
Mayor Pro Tem Bryant,
Here?
Commissioner Bender,
Here.
Leah Willman. Here. Laura White, Jennifer Duke,
Here.
Shelley Wynn,
Here.
Ann Chuckman,
Here.
Iris Green, Kathy Olam, and Katie Archie.
Okay, thank you, and I believe we do have a quorum. So move down to number 3 is the approval of the minutes of February the 6th. And if everybody's had a chance to review the minutes, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
Okay,
Second.
okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the minutes of February 6th. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Move down to number 4 is the updating regarding the GEO bond of 2020 monies with Margaret Henchy. Yes.
Hold down. Good evening, Library Board Commissioner and Chairman, Mr. Bryant, and the rest of you fine folks. The GO bond, the allocation was $65,556.70. Its current balance is $29,083. These funds must be spent by June 2024. Things that have recently been purchased with our GO bond include slat wall shelving for the lobby, a new bulletin board for the lobby, nonfiction books for both juveniles and adults, audio, e-audio, and e-books for juveniles and adults, Epson projector that our patrons can check out, and a Gale Legal Forms database. Some of the other things we're looking for, I will probably use it just for collections. The GO bond has to be used for something directly related to patron use. So, we always have to not scramble around, but books are always the in thing. We can get like chair pads underneath the computers, we can get that kind of thing. So, but we have a little bit of time to spend that. So, thank you. Any questions?
Any questions? No? Okay. Move down to reports. The first one's a community report. If anybody has anything to talk about within the community? Yes. You have to hold it. Should be a little,
There we go.
should be a little green light.
Okay. I did want to let you know we had a Friends of the Library book sale 2 weeks ago, and we made $710.
Well, that's great.
Now, that's a lot of books, when basically they're 50 cents a piece.
Yeah, that
But
is.
that didn't put a dent in what we have.
And how often do you have the book sales for Friends of the Library?
At least twice a year.
Okay.
It just kind of depends.
Is that probably the highest, or is that,
No, we average
Average.
close to 900, anywhere from 700 to 1,000. It just depends.
does that money go back into the library?
No, it stays with the Friends,
Okay.
and that's where we pay for the stuff for the summer reading program, the adult services programs. Right now, Margaret is having a lowering part of the reference desk so that someone can actually sit at a chair at the reference desk, like when they do notaries and that.
Right.
And we're paying for that.
Oh, okay.
We also paid when we changed the book sale room and we put that archway in there. The Friends paid for that,
Okay, great.
so,
Good. Money's going to good use.
yeah.
Good to hear.
And then the second thing is, finished our income tax season, finally. We didn't do a lot here at the library. We only served 49 people here, but total between Baxter, Senior Center, Roy Walker, and ENMU, we did 1,930 returns. And net refunds was $1,402,000.
Wow.
So it's pretty well back up to what it was before COVID.
Good. Good to hear.
So we served a lot of people. And that new tax rebate, a lot of them were coming in because they didn't file 2021, which meant they didn't get the last 3 rebates.
So they're going back and filing for those.
I don't know, they may not get the last three, they will get the new one that's coming out this June.
Okay.
The other three, they were supposed to be filed by May 31st of last year. So I don't know if they'll get it or not, but they're still, they were coming in, so.
Good, good. Okay. Any other questions? Okay. Move down to librarian's report with Ms. Hensy.
Thank you again. Let's see. Some of them Shelley talked about. The board at Baxter Curran gave us 3 couches, which are now gracing our lobby for lobby furniture. So I don't have to request additional monies from anyone. We also have the same furniture in our staff room. It came from the airport. So we're glad we had that furniture. The first day it was placed was the first day AARP did the taxes in the Ingram room, and people were lying across it, and we're so happy you have furniture. So that's kind of nice. We participated in a point-in-time homelessness count in January, and I don't know if I mentioned this at our February meeting. What this group did was had a survey for anyone that was perceived to be homeless on January 30th, and asked them to fill out this survey. So we had surveys in the building. We really didn't want to go up and ask our odd patrons, "Hi, are you homeless today?" We filled out one survey in this building, but Curry County completed 27 surveys. 19 counties participated with a total of 662 individuals taking part. So I have a question. I should know this. Is Albuquerque and Bernalillo County? So I have the PIT things, and Bernalillo is not in here. Chavez, Colfax, Curry, Donna Ana, Eddy, Grant, Los Lunas, Luna, McKinley, Otero, Quay, Rio Arriba, Roosevelt, San Juan, Sandoval, Santa Fe, Socorro, Taos, and Union. But maybe Albuquerque was not part, because I think it's in Bernalillo County, right?
Right.
So the biggest county participation came from Donna Ana County, and they had 121 participants. We had 27 in Curry County. Let's see. Our March big display was a tournament of authors. The winner after 4 rounds was Jane Austen, who beat out J.K. Rowling. And we used traditional women's authors, and we were told next time to maybe expand our author population, maybe have some indigenous women or some African American women. We had J.K. Rowling, we had Jane Austen, we had Mary Shelley, we had, I can't even think, I can see the board. We had the woman who wrote the Hardy Boys, Keene. We had Laura Ingalls Wilder. We had some prominent women's authors, but not really probably the cross-section that we needed. But we had 250 people participate. So another thing that we're doing now is Curry County is coming on the Tuesday of the month and doing a pop-up program in our Ingram room. The first one was, getting your garden started. And the guy came in and told us how to check your soil and what to plant and when our growing seasons were, and it was well attended. This last one we had last Tuesday was crafting for senior citizens. And it seemed like when I poked my head in, there was a lot of decoupage going on. So I think that's what seniors do. Let's see. So every year about this time, we submit our regular and revised budget for the next fiscal year. So I sent mine in last Thursday. I think all the budgets will go to City Commission the first meeting in May or in June. Thanks to the Carver estate, I have I can honestly share this with you. I think my budget in the 13 years I've been here for the monies that I get to spend has been flat, but we get $60,000 from the Carver Estate to spend on materials, so that helps. Plus, I have Go Bond, plus I have state grant, so that's done. The summer reading program, we've had a couple of bumps in managing who's going to be our programming people. I think we have weathered the storm, and I will just tell you that we had a proposed drag queen story time that's going to be held in our Ingram room, our public meeting room. They have since moved their location. So it'll be during Pride Week. I think it's at the YRB. The theme for our summer reading program is called All Together Now. We'll have Andy Mason, who'll sing and dance. We'll have a magician. We'll have movies. We're going to have a visit from the zoo. We will have community helpers of all types. We'll have lots of stuff going on. Our summer reading program, because of COVID, we really didn't have it in 2019 and 2020. 2021, we saw a resurgence. 2022, our numbers were better. So I expect a great following this summer too. We had some wind damage on February 26th. We had some tiles come off our roof. We didn't lose our roof, thank goodness, but it got fixed. As Shelley mentioned, our reference desk is being revised so that there's a sit-down area for notaries. One of the things that I'm focusing on this spring is updating the collection, and by that I say I read a list of books in order in which there should be on the shelf. I take them into my office. I look at them, I look at the publication date, I see if there's an updated one or if it's still the definitive copy, and replace it. So it's called weeding and replacing. So right now I'm doing medical and health, which our collection is very dated. It's been kind of fascinating to see the books that we have. Like we had a book called A Beautiful New You from 1977. Like, I need that book. I found a book in the 700s, which is crafts, called Sew and Go Children. Did you know you can sew and have children to go? So it's things like that I'm getting rid of. It's been kind of a fascinating adventure. What happens, though, in this process is about once every 10 days, we have a new book truck. We have a book truck of new books come out. Really, in a library, you should be weeding at least that many every time a book truck comes out. We do not. So the last time we did an inventory such as this was when we were closed that 1 week. Do you remember, Commissioner? And we weeded a lot. So I'm having to balance, what I'm taking out and what I'm finding to put in the collection so that our numbers don't get a lot of shift. So I'm doing that. What else? I think, this is National Library Week. So I want to read you the wonderful proclamation that Commissioner Jones read last week, because I think it shows an honor to us and an honor in what we do. Whereas libraries provide the opportunity for everyone to pursue their passions and engage in lifelong learning, allowing them to live their best life. And whereas libraries have long served as trusted institutions for all members of the community, regardless of race, ethnicity, creed, ability, sexual orientation, gender identity, or socioeconomic status. And whereas, my fingers are getting tired. Libraries serve to develop and maintain programs and collections that are as diverse as the populations they serve and ensure equity of access for all. And whereas libraries adapt to the ever-changing needs of the communities, continually expanding their collections, services, and partnerships. And whereas libraries play a critical role in the economic vitality of communities by providing internet and technology access, literacy skills, and support for job seekers, small businesses, and entrepreneurs. And whereas libraries are accessible and inclusive places promoting a sense of local connection, advancing understanding, civic engagement, and shared community goals. And whereas libraries are cornerstones of democracy, promoting the free exchange of information and ideas for all. And finally, whereas libraries, librarians, and library workers are joining library supporters and advocates across the nation to celebrate National Library Week. So I think right there it tells you what we do and what we do well. I'm proud to be what I'm doing, but I'm even prouder of my staff and the ability that they do and the programs we have and the customer service we're given. So anyway, this week is National Library Week. We have swag if a new person signs up for a library card. We're also doing a food drive for Eastern New Mexico food bank. Yeah. And that's my report. Do you have any questions?
Any questions? Okay, I do have a couple.
Okay.
The weeded out books that you're talking about, what happens to those?
They go to the Friends of the Library. They'll get resold.
Okay. My next question, the donation of books, do we receive got quite a few donations from citizens?
Prize Commissioner, what we receive. We receive, here's an example. When Lionel Scarta died, I was left his library. And I was told, Margaret, you take these from your Uncle Lionel and put them in the library. I said, we have all these Southwest books. I don't want them. So I don't know what they finally do with them. I don't care. I do care, but we probably get, I don't know, I would say between 1,000 and 5,000 titles per month.
Oh, gosh.
People clean out. People don't like to throw away books. Maybe that's kind of a no, that's probably about right, isn't it, Shelley?
Yeah, if we sell 1,000 books at our book sale, we'll have at least that many or more that actually come in. And once in a while, we get them back again.
Well, what do we do with those excess books? I mean, just try to sell them, or do we store them, or do we give them to the libraries?
Libraries have the same problem. They're trying to get rid of books too. We have taken books to the jail, like paperbacks, and the juvenile center. We've taken them. We used to take them to the rest homes and the airport for like a book exchange. We haven't done that in a while. Maybe we need to do that again. We mainly took paperbacks. Like Shelley said, the books come back. It's like, oh, here's a great book on, I don't know, cooking for two. Okay, I found my one recipe. I'm going to take it back to the library. They come back, and they come back, and they come back. So we try to go through them and sell them. I have to say that some of them that are in poor condition, even the ones in our collection, get weeded and thrown away. And that's sad.
It is.
Have you ever asked the question of maybe putting together something that just have a giveaway? Like just stick out a bunch of duplicate copies or whatever and say, hey, we're not even selling these.
Oh, yeah, we could do that. I mean, this would be a perfect time of the year, too, for National Library Week. We have done that in the past. If they get a library card, we have a whole slew of books they can choose from. So we have done that.
And we get those back too.
1 week later.
Yeah.
Margaret, I just want to thank you and your staff. You all do a remarkable job.
Thank
and
you.
I'm sure during the summer months, gets pretty hectic sometimes with everything that's going on within the library.
Yeah. It's an exciting time, especially now that COVID's over.
It does. Any other questions for Margaret? Okay. Only other question I had was we talked about notaries last time in our last meeting. How is that going?
I'm sorry to say I did not bring numbers this time. It's going very well. No one seems to be balking at paying $2 for a notary. Yeah, and it's going fine. It's going surprisingly better than I thought it would, because I still personally believe that because it's a city provided bond that we need to provide it for free. And like today I did 4 notaries for people who have 0 income. So they're applying for every kind of aid they can. But they gave me $2 for notaries, but it's going well.
Good. That's
Yeah.
good to hear.
And we also have a Spanish-speaking notary, Rosa Lopez, who comes in. If we have a Spanish document that needs to be notarized, she will come in and we'll get that done for her too.
Okay, good, good. All right, move down for the good of the order. Does anybody have anything else to report on? One thing I have is, there has been some discussion, from what I gather, of possibly the Veterans Memorial that we have on the side, of moving that to Veterans Park. I don't know the details of that, or I haven't been involved in the conversation with that as of yet, but we'll try to keep everybody updated as to how that's coming along. Margaret, do you have anything to add
I
to
don't know
that?
anything about it. It's always been the Stonehenge of the library. The way this was, the only time
Push your button.
I gotta push it hard. I have not been, the only time I've been really involved with the memorial is years ago. Jim Coleman had a dedication for someone whose name was carved into it. So I went and we, saluted the flag and said the Pledge of Allegiance, had cake and ice cream and left. That's the only time I've done anything with that memorial. So in January, I had two men whose father served in World War II, and they wanted his name carved on the memorial. I can't find any documentation on what's required to be put, whose names can be on the memorial, how it's done, who pays for it. So I called, of course I called Claire and Justin, they knew nothing. I tried to get a hold of Jim Coleman, I don't know where he's at. It was suggested I call Commissioner Rue Rinder, but I know his health is jeopardized a little bit. I called the VFW, a couple of VFWs. No one seems to have any documentation on how one gets a name put on this memorial. And then it's been discussed to be taken to the Veterans Park. I've looked at it. Those things are individual. Those pillars are individual, and they're just plunked into the ground. I don't know how deep they go. But I guess I need to do some research to find out how to build a policy around such a memorial and figure out what to do with it next.
Yeah, I think that's kind of where the discussion's going on, trying to locate the thoughts as to, how that all started and who has all the information and possibly getting it moved.
Yeah.
Like I say, it's into a discussion stage right now, but that's as much as I know.
It's as much as I know too, yeah.
We'll try to keep everybody involved with that and communicate with you the best we can on where that's going. Yes.
Yes, I have a question about the Ingram Room, and I'm not sure what the explanation is. It does not belong to the library, but it's in the library, and so could someone give us some more information about that, please?
I can. It actually is in the library. It's a city facility and it's a public building. So anybody is allowed to rent the Ingram Room for whatever they wish to use it for, if they're willing to rent it. We really don't have anything, we don't prohibit anything in the Ingram Room. It's just a matter of who wants to rent it at what time and if it's available. So that's kind of where it stands. It's kind of like with the YRB over on Sycamore Street. That's a public facility. The library's a public facility. The Ingram Room's a public facility. So we can't prohibit, certain things from going in there if they're willing to pay the rental fee. Answer your question? Thank you. Okay.
Just to touch up on what you said, if somebody rents that room, it's not basically, they rent it as a private, they rent it for their own private use, right? It doesn't become a public matter at that point in time to where you couldn't rent it for, say, for whatever, let's say you wanted to throw I don't know, some kind of little gathering. Would it be open to the public at that point in time?
Sure, yes. I mean, you can rent it pretty well for whatever you want. The city's not gonna promote it. I mean, you know, for whatever it's rented for. But, you know, if you rent it for whatever, then you would be responsible to promote that event for yourself. You know, but the city and the library would not be responsible for promoting that event. Is that
But it's
correct?
not- But if you have like they have showers, bridal showers and
Mm-hmm.
things, it's not open to the public, it's only open to invitees to
Right,
that.
correct.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
So I have a
You-
question to tie onto that. How does liability, like insurance, work on that then? Is it,
Ms. Cincy, could you help me with that?
No. I would think they fill out, when someone comes in and wants to have a baby shower or a birthday party, we have them fill out a form with our rules, and they sign off on them, and they pay their deposit of $100 and their room rental of $30 an hour. And then if the room is left as they found it, they get their deposit back. As far as liability, I would think that's the only liability that I would be worried about. But if someone hurt themselves during a meeting, I would fill out an incident report with the city and go through the proper motions, take care of it that way. But we haven't never had anything like that.
I'll just knock on wood here real quick. Sorry about that.
Most of the city's facilities, if you have something with the city, the city requires $1 million liability policy to have something. I'm not sure about the Ingram Room, how that works with it.
There's probably something in city code that I am not
Yeah.
aware of or very well versed on that takes care of that.
I would assume you're right. There's something in writing somewhere that you'd find. But what is the cost to rent that room? Is it pretty level?
So the deposit is $100, and then it's $30 per hour. And it's only available at the times the library is open. So before the 2017 incident, we would have things at night, like on Friday and Saturday night, and on Sunday. We no longer do that. It's only when the library is open.
Okay, any other questions? No? Okay, thank you. All right, anything for the good of the order, other than what we've talked about? Nope, okay. Next meeting, date and time will be 5:30, Monday, July 31st, and with that, we're adjourned.